Hey guys, so we're going to be improving the form we created in the last video, and I want to start by improving these fields right here. So we can't see it right now, but when a user was using this app, they should be able to see like a little keyboard that pops up, and they can type in values here. And we can see this in the emulator, at least with the iOS one. If you go to Hardware, Keyboard, and then Toggle Keyboard, or Command K on a Mac. And now I can see this keyboard here, and this is the wrong keyboard, so we don't want the user to be typing in letters here. We want it to be a numerical entry into this, so we can actually pass a prop in called the keyboard type here, and we can pass the value numeric, and what that will do is we'll get a much better keyboard. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's copy that, and now on my price I'm going to say numeric, and we don't need to use the use numeric component anymore. So now if I am in description or if I'm in beds, we get this keyboard. But if I'm in price, you'll notice we now have a number pad where I can actually specify the price that we want. So I'm just going to copy this, and we'll use this for each one of these guys. Now you can still use decimals, so you probably want to restrict some of these to only integer values. Oops, I want the numeric. And then also the longitude. Alright, so now those fields are good. The next thing I want to work on is the amenities. So this is a new field that I'm going to add at the bottom. And how we did on our website is we had kind of this thing where we could create tags or amenities and just create as many as we wanted. There's not really a great element to represent a similar thing on React Native, at least with the UI kit that we're using. Which is React Native Elements. But someone actually created the amenities a slightly different way. They used checkboxes and asked about how to do that in Discord. So I figured we might as well try out that method so the rest of you guys can see how that might work. So what we're going to do is create a field called a checkbox group. So basically I can click as many amenities on and off as I want. So it's going to be slightly different because I'm going to basically have a preset of amenities they can choose from. So let's go ahead and create this field I'm talking about. So it's going to be like the input field where I can use it as many times as I want in any form that I want. So I'm going to go to the shared folder in our app and create a new one called checkbox group fields.tsx. And now I'm going to copy this so we can have just a standard. And now this is going to be a little bit different. It's going to take a different prop. And now the prop it's going to take is amenities, or amenities, which is going to be an array of strings. Or a better name for this is like amenities to select from, or something like that. These are basically all the options. Let's actually rename it to options. That's a better way. So now it's a generic, it's not just for using for input field. So these are going to be all the options the user can check off. And now coming down to here, what we're going to do is we're going to loop through the options and create a checkbox per each one. So I'm going to destructure the options, and I'm going to create a checkbox. Paste that in, and we don't need an input. So I'm going to say options.map, and I'm going to return a fragment from this. I'm going to say react.fragment, and that's just going to wrap the entire thing. And I'm going to do curly braces because I want to do options.map, and so for each option I'm going to render a checkbox. First thing I want to do also is go ahead and add the import from React Native Elements. And we don't need that style. Okay, so we're not going to worry about error messages with this particular group. So we don't need anything from form, I suppose, either. And it doesn't really make any sense to spread the props, at least right now, because there's not really any prop I think to pass to this. So the way this is going to work is we're going to specify whether the checkbox is checked or not, and the way we do that is if it's in the list. So this particular, the way this particular element is going to work, and let's rename it checkbox group field, is the state is going to be an array of strings, and to know whether it's checked, we just check if it's in the array of strings. So the field here, the thing we care about is name, and actually we do want the form now because we want to get the values, and we're going to say values.name. So this is going to be an array of strings, and we're going to say dot includes option. So what we're saying here is if the option is in the array of strings, then it is checked. And this will make more sense when we put more of it together. And I'm going to rename this checkbox to option. Now nothing should actually happen when I check it because we haven't had an OnPress yet, but I want to go ahead and see if this does render how I think it should. So if we come over to create listing connector, should be able to create a field here using that. So the name is going to be amenities, and then options, like I said, is going to be an array of strings. So maybe this is going to be all the amenities that we could have. So maybe a pool, basketball court, soccer field, I don't know, I just picked some random amenities. And then the component is going to be the one we just created, which is the checkbox group. I'm not sure why we're getting a type error here. Oh, we should be passing a key in. Let's do that real quick. So since we're mapping over this, we need to specify a key, and the key is just going to be the option. So if someone passes an option twice, there'll be a problem, but we shouldn't be doing that anyway. So anyway, this is what I want it to look like, and notice I can manipulate this any way I want. So I don't know, soccer field, if I want to add another one on here, like what other amenity could they have? I guess balcony, or what about like just a yard? Some places might not even have a yard. So now you can see yard is on this, so I can just pretty much add as many options as I want and just pass it in as an array. I'm going to go ahead and just cast this to anything because I know it works. And let's go ahead and actually get this working with the state. So now when I click this, it should be checked. And by the way, we can see whether our state is working. So right now our amenities is an empty array. So we're saying an empty array dot includes option, which of course it doesn't. But if I add pool, hopefully pool should now be checked, and it is because it's in this list. So we map over and we get to the pool option, it sees that it's actually in the array. So the values.name here is representing, in this case, this array. Alright, cool. So let's add an OnPress. Now, the documentation is pretty vague for OnPress. It doesn't say what this thing returns or what it has as a parameter. I'm going to assume OnPress returns a Boolean, true or false, whether it's checked, but it doesn't say. And also there's no examples here really of them using OnPress or maybe like something called onCheck. So I first kind of want to just see what parameters we even get here. So I'm going to say this dot OnPress, and this is going to be value. I'm going to comment this stuff out for now, and I just want to console.log that and see if it is true or false like I think. That basically just crashed it. So notice how it's not even showing it's like kind of stuck. If I try clicking, nothing happens. So this must be the wrong prop to use. It doesn't like OnPress, but OnPress seems like the right thing to use here. I don't see any other props that would be instead. There's on icon press. I don't know why that would be a thing instead, and I don't see any like error in the log here. So let's try on icon press. Yeah, that should be a boolean, I'm guessing. The other thing I can do is I can go into this and see what type it expects. That might be the best thing. So here I'm looking at this component. See if I can find the OnPress for it. Alright, I don't even see OnPress. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I think when I clicked it before, it took me to the wrong declaration file. Let's check the props out. Alright, so the OnPress for this actually doesn't provide any parameters whatsoever. I guess we're supposed to just know based on the state. So this does make it a little bit more work on our part. But I want to see if just passing an OnPress hopefully should not crash, should not just freeze it like it was before. Alright, cool. So now we basically just want to invert the value. So we need to kind of check whether it's in the list, and if it's in the list, we remove it. If it's not in the list, we keep it, or we append it, I mean. So this is what I'm going to do. We have the name. We also need to get the value, which, oh, you know what? I don't actually have to do values. I could just get the value right here. I forgot that's a thing. So me looking at it up values.name is the same thing as value, I think. So I can just use that. That's just a better way to do it. It's just more shorthand. We don't have to look it up in the dictionary. So alright, we have the value right here. So I want to check if value is in the list. So to do this, I think I'm going to do a little trick to avoid going over the list multiple times. There might be a better way to do this, but this is the first thing that came to my mind. So length before filter. So I'm first going to see what the length of this is before I filter. Then I'm going to say const new value is equal to value.filter, and I'm going to say x is not equal to, and then the thing that I want to, oh, you know what? I need to know the option that we're filtering here. So in that case, what I'm going to do, okay, yeah, I'm just going to do this in a totally different way, I think now. This will be the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to make this into a regular function, and I'm going to return here, and I'm going to say const checked is equal to this. So I've changed nothing here. All I've done is taken the value that we had here and moved it up here. But now in the OnPress here, I'm going to pass a lambda and call this.onPress, and I'm just going to pass the option name, and then I'm also going to pass in whether it's checked or not. So now up here, I can take two parameters, the name, which is a string, and checked, which is a boolean. And I don't need that anymore. And I don't have to do the thing that I was about to do, which was going to be a lot more work. So now I want to check if this thing is checked. So if it's checked and someone clicks on it, what I want to do is I want to remove this option from the list. So I'm going to say set field value. The name here is going to be the field name. So let's destructure field and grab field.name. And then I'm going to say field.value.filter, and I'm just going to remove X if it's equal to the name. So this is the name of the option, and this is going to be a string. We need to cast it to a type. So this is going to be the name of the option, and maybe to make this clear I can rename it here to option name, because there's multiple names here. So this is going to be like pool or whatever. So we're basically looping through the amenity list, looking for the word pool and removing it. Otherwise, so if it's not checked and the user checked it, what that means is they'd like to add that option to the list. So the way we're going to add this is we're going to create a new array, and we're just going to append to the end of it the option, so this guy, and there we go. I think we should now be able to press the option or the checkbox, and the code should keep the state like how we want it to. So also, I don't know if you guys have seen this before, if I've used this a lot before, but this is me destructuring an array. So this is taking all the values of the array and putting it at the beginning, and then just appending that to the end of the array. So this is going to be an array, and really what it's just going to look like is pool and then basketball. So we have an array, and I'm really destructuring something that looks like this. I can't spell right now. There we go. And then whatever thing I want to add at the end. But here's our array of amenities. We might have more than one in that list, and what that transforms into is just a flat list like that of our values. Alright, let's try this out now. So if I check, I can now check on and off, and I think it's really easy to see this also if I come over here and I log the values. So now we can see what our state looks like as the user is filling out the form. So I check pool, and we can see our amenities list started as an empty array, and now it went to an array with a pool in it. And now I can check other boxes, and now I have a soccer field, now I have a yard. I can uncheck stuff, and there we go. So that is how I'm going to do amenities on the phone. And this is a little bit more of a advanced custom field that you can do with Formic, but pretty much you can get any field to work with Formic, or at least I haven't had a case where I haven't gotten a field to work with Formic, but it does you do need to do some possible changes or whatnot. In this case, we had our own custom OnPress that we added. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. In the next one, we'll go over pictures.